The US men's national team is back, and this is the last time they're going to play before playing an actual competitive match, which we haven't played since 2019. Along with that, this is the toughest opponent we faced in a while. The Swiss team is pretty good. And in this video, we're going to dive into the US men's national team roster for this game, where I'll be talking about him. And then for the Swiss team, we're going to have Fiago from Footy Base to talk about the Swiss team. He's German-Swiss, so he's the perfect person to talk about it. Very knowledgeable when it comes to soccer, or football as he calls it. So we're going to have a very special guest to talk about the Swiss team. No one better than someone local, so I don't share my bias. With that said, after that, I'm going to give you my predicted starting lineup for the US men's national team for this match, and maybe I'll try to do a prediction for the score. If you guys kindly could, comment down below, what is your predicted starting 11? What do you think Greg Berhalter will do? And feel free to do that, and while you're at it, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. All of that combined. With all that said, let's roll the episode. Before we start, I'm going to give an overall preview, and I'd like to say that we will be doing a live watch along with Pete from 11 Yanks here at the channel for that match, so don't miss out. But let's go to the game. The United States will face Switzerland this Sunday, May 30th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The game will take place at Switzerland, which is just a friendly match with the goal to prepare the US men's national team for Nations League along with the World Cup qualifying. Hold on. I'll explain very soon what I mean about World Cup qualifying. Along with that, this match is also to prepare the Swiss team for the Euro 2020, which is being played at 2021 for obvious reasons. Okay, so the reason I said World Cup qualifying is due to the fact that Greg Berhalter has come out and said that he is using this match to prepare the European-based players for the qualifiers. And why is that? For the qualifiers, they're going to have 3 matches in September and October within a 1-week span roughly. And they're going to play the weekend with their European club. Then they're going to travel to North America to play those matches. So what Greg Berhalter is essentially trying to do is simulate that whole situation of them playing in Europe, not for their club but for the national team, but it's essentially the same concept. They go to North America and play 3 games. He's trying to simulate it also to see how he can rotate and use the players properly. So I criticize the logistics of having a game in Europe prior to the Nations League in the United States. They could have just done the camp here in the US. But he has a good point, and I'm going to give him props for that. It makes sense. All I don't want is for Berhalter to use that as an excuse for losing Nations League. So as long as he doesn't do that, and hopefully he doesn't lose Nations League, hopefully he wins, but if it is to happen, he can't use it as an excuse. Just saying, well, we're trying to prepare for the World Cup qualifying. No, you need to win Nations League. With that said, another issue many addressed was them playing in the altitude of Denver and prior to that going to Europe, but they're practicing and training at the Swiss Alps, which is the altitude essentially. So it's very important for the preparation. So all of this was actually very well thought out, and I give him props for that, Greg Berhalter and his whole team, the US Federation, in that sense. Because it is tough to play in the altitude, ask any South American country that plays in La Paz against Bolivia. So they are preparing for that as well for this match. Let's dive into the US men's national team roster and then to the Swiss roster, and then I'll give you my predicted starting lineup towards the end of the video. And by then, guys, hit the like button. It takes a second or two. What is it going to hurt? Alright, let's skim through the US men's national team roster because I already covered it in a different video. So the goalkeepers we're bringing for this game specifically are Ethan Horvath, Chiture Odunze, and David Ochoa. So the total list has 27 players, and obviously for Nations League we're only going to bring 23. Out of the goalkeepers here, Chiture Odunze is replacing Zach Steffen that won't be available due to being at the Champions League final for Manchester City the previous day on Saturday. Now for the defenders, we have John Brooks from Wolfsburg, Reggie Cannon from Boavista, Justin Che from Bayern Munich, which, by the way, Justin Che will not be in Nations League, Serginho Dest from Barcelona, Mark McKenzie from Genk, Matt Miazga from Anderlecht, Tim Ream from Fulham, Brian Reynolds from Roma, which also won't be in Nations League, Anthony Robinson from Fulham, and the Andre Yedlin from Galatasaray. So all these players that I said are in Nations League besides Justin Che and Brian Reynolds. Okay, now let's go to the midfield, which it worries me a little bit. So for the midfield, we have Kellen Acosta from the Rapids, Tyler Adams from RB Leipzig. We don't know his health situation right now, but it seems like he's fine, and he even traveled to Europe. He was in the United States, and he came back to Europe for this game, so I'm assuming Tyler Adams is just fine. We have Julian Green from Firth, Bundesliga 2, that just got promoted, and Julian Green will not be in Nations League. We have Sebastian Lletget from the LA Galaxy, Weston McKennie from Juventus, Yunus Musa from Valencia, and Jackson Yeo from the San Jose Earthquakes. Now, in this midfield, for this game, not too much. We do have Green there, and we could move Brendan there as well, so I'll get to that soon. But for Nations League, this midfield, what worries me a lot is the depth. So the starting lineup, which is probably going to be Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and Yunus Musa, if they're all healthy, is fine. But then at the bench, we have Kelvin Costa, Jackson Yeo, and Sebastian Lletget. Can they do okay? At least Lletget has done okay with the US men's national team. Yes, but these are not the three options I would want off the bench. I would want at least one solid option, such as maybe Brendan playing midfield, but that's a different topic. Now let's go to the forwards. Okay, so for the forwards, we have Brendan Eriksson from RB Salzburg, Daryl DK from Barnsley, now back to Orlando City for the time being, and Daryl DK is not in the Nations League roster. Matthew Hoppe from Schalke, which might get a transfer this summer, we'll see, and Matthew Hoppe's also not in Nations League. Gio Reyna from Borussia Dortmund, Josh Sargent from Werder Bremen, also relegated in Bundesliga, Jordan Siabachu from Young Boys in the Swiss League, and Tim Weah from Lille. So the only player missing there is Christian Pulisic because he has the Champions League final, similar situation as Zach Steffen on the previous day. So this roster has 17 players under the age of 23. The squad averages 13 caps, so it's a very young squad, but they do have somewhat of an international experience. And the players play in 11 different countries, and it's very important to point out the main countries, which is 7 players playing Germany, 4 playing England, 4 in MLS in the United States, and then the other countries vary from 3, 2 to 1 players each. Expect a lot of rotations, but I'm going to get to that later in the video on the starting lineup. But we'll likely see our strongest starting lineup to start the game versus Switzerland, and then Greg Berhalter will do a lot of subs at halftime because he does need to rest players and prepare them for Nations League. But with that said, let's bring in our very special guest, Fiago, to talk about the Swiss team so you guys can get to know them from a Swiss perspective. So let's get Fiago into the channel. So guys, you all know Fiago. He was here before for the USA Germany, where actually the US lost on that one when you were there. But anyway, now he's here to talk about Switzerland. And Fiago, for many of you that don't know, he is German, but he's also Swiss, right, Fiago?
Yep. 25%.
25%. And well, he's in Europe, so he definitely knows the Swiss team way more than me and way more than all of us here. So let's learn a little bit about him. So Fiago, for this Swiss team, I know it's a friendly, so they'll probably rotate, so you could get one thing wrong or another, but let's assume they go with their best 11 and sub everyone out. What do we expect from this team formation, playing style? Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, the manager, Vladimir Petkovic, is a big fan of a 3-5-2 formation. Sometimes 3-4-2-1, but I go with 3-5-2 for now. So 3 in the back, wing backs that go back as a 5 in the back when defending, but when attacking it's 3 in the back and wingers. And yeah, I guess in goal we have Jan Sommer, usually from Gladbach, you probably know him. Then we have 3 in the back. I would assume Ricardo Rodriguez as the left center back, Akanji from Dortmund, maybe you know him, and Nico Elvedi from Gladbach. Those are the 3 center backs, I guess. Then central midfield is their strongest position, I would say. Granit Xhaka is definitely there, the captain, the leader of this team, starts for Arsenal too. Then we have either Dennis Zakaria from Gladbach, very physical, athletic player, similar to Xhaka, or Atalanta Remo Freuler. I don't know, do you know him? He's also a starter for Atalanta. Yeah. One of those two, like Xhaka plus Zakaria or Remo Freuler, central midfield pairing. And then the wingbacks, I assume on the right there is Kevin Mbabu. This is Wolfsburg's right wingback. And on the left, I guess it's going to be Ruben Vargas from Chile, but he plays for Switzerland. Also in the Bundesliga, Augsburg. Most of these players are actually in the Bundesliga. So those wingbacks are very pacey. They have a lot of stamina. They can do like wing back and wingers, so that's important for them to be very quick. And then 3 up front. Usually Xherdan Shaqiri from Liverpool. He's going to be there for sure. One of their most important players. Central attacking midfielder, I would say, very technical and also a leader in this team. And then I would say double strike partnership with, of course, Haris Seferovic. He plays for Benfica. He scored 22 goals this season in Portuguese league, so he's going to be there for sure. And then also another one from Gladbach, Breel Embolo. He's rather quick. So I guess, I don't know, that was probably a bit much now, but that is going to be the team. And how they play, I assume that against most opponents, Switzerland always try to control the game against opponents that are weaker than them or equally good as them. They try to control the game, so try to keep a lot of possession, and they create the game using their two center backs, Akanji and Elvedi, ball playing center backs, very technical, very good vision, passing range. So they initiate the attacks, and from there they try to keep the possession. So I think they will do that against the US as well. I expect them to have a lot of possession, and the central midfielders, Shaka and Zakaria, probably will be also very tough to beat, as they are highly physical, and technical attackers can have a lot of problems against them. So I assume their strength, central midfield and central defense, actually. Yeah, that's a quick overview.
So it's essentially a team composed of many above average, so starting Bundesliga players.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
And then along with that, so what I noticed, I watched them play against superior teams, and they were very defensive when they play a superior team. I don't think they're going to see the United States as a team that's above them. I think they'll see it around the same level, or maybe even below. I don't know what they will see exactly. So I think they'll probably do what you just said. They're going to try to control the game as well.
Probably, yeah. I've seen them go very, very defensively and stay compact only against Spain and Germany in the past 2 years, basically. I think that's it. Other than that, they always try to control the game. But you're right, against much stronger opponents, they play very defensively. But I think against the United States, probably more or less same level. So they will try to keep most of the possession and control the game.
So before we go, quick question, quick answer. Is this Swiss team expected to qualify to the World Cup?
For sure, yeah, definitely.
So it's a pretty damn good team, because UEFA is very strong, and if they can make it. So it's a great test for the United States, obviously. Definitely. I know the Swiss team and the United States will rest a lot of players because they have more important games coming up.
I guess.
But it'll be nice to see the first half. And Fiago, thank you very much.
You're welcome, man. I enjoyed it.
Well, this Swiss team is actually very, very strong, and they're expected to make it to the World Cup in UEFA, which is pretty tough. They're ranked 13th in FIFA, even though those fake rankings or whatever they are, but they are well ranked. It's a strong team, a lot of players from Bundesliga. With that said, I'm not going to give a score prediction for this game because I don't know what both teams will do, if they will rest. They're both preparing for different tournaments, so they might do a bunch of subs. The game could even get a little messy. But with that said, let's try to predict what Greg Berhalter will do in regards to the starting lineup. I think that is something very reasonable, and I want you guys to comment that down below. Let's go through the starting lineup I believe we're going to go with. So trying to predict Greg Berhalter's starting 11, I think he's going to go with the 4-3-3, which is honestly the best formation he's had so far, at least when it comes to execution. The goalkeeper for this match will likely be Ethan Horvath. The right back, in my personal opinion, will be Serginho Dest, and the left back will be Anthony Robinson, even though I could see him flipping them, as he does bring for Nations League 3 right backs, including Dest, Yedlin, Cannon, and only Robinson for left back, so maybe he sees Dest as a left back, but I don't think he does. So I'm going to go with Dest on the right, Robinson on the left. The two defenders, the right center back, is going to be Matt Niazga and John Brooks, in my opinion. Now, the holding midfielder for this match specifically, I think it's going to be Yunus Musa, as I believe he will rest Tyler Adams as he's recovering from injury. So I think we're going to have Yunus Musa play the 6, and then Weston McKennie is Sebastian Lletget playing as 8. Sebastian Lletget a little more of an offensive role, obviously. Now for the forwards, I think he's going to go with Gio Reyna on the right wing, Brendan Harrison on the left wing, and Josh Sargent as our center forward. However, I could see him flip Gio Reyna on the left wing as if he's replacing Pulisic and putting Tim Weah on the right wing, but I think he sees Brendan as the replacement to Pulisic, so we're going to see Gio Reyna on the right and Brendan Harrison on the left. Will I be right with the starting lineup? It's anybody's guess. I don't know what Greg will do. Maybe he'll start Kellen Acosta and Sebastian Lletget will be the match. Maybe he'll play Tyler Adams. I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's just my guess, and I think he would want to test Yunus Musa as a 6. My personal opinion, I think it would work just fine. Guys, comment down below your starting 11 for the US men's national team in this match. What do you think Berhalter will do? Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. Don't forget, we will have a watch along for this game, so don't miss out on that as well. Great content coming up. I want to thank you all very much for watching, and we're going to do a Nations League preview. Yes, we're going to do a full preview for Nations League covering all 4 teams. It'll likely be out next Monday. So with that said, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and have a great day.